Welcome universe. In this video, let us cover some key points during the resignation. It is very common that any employee working in an organization would go out for better opportunity to do business, or it can be even in retirements as well. But in this rush, they tend to forget certain key factors which they need to know before they exit the organization. So in this video, I have covered 20 major points which any employee working in an organization planning to resign or leaving the organization should follow these 20 checkpoints for the better career in the future. In these 20 points, I have divided it into 4 squares. It is before resigning. The first point is before resigning. Second point is after submitting resignation. So the first stage is before resigning and second stage is after submitting resignation. Third stage is during notice period. What are the key points? And fourth stage is after serving notice period, which is exit process. So in this 4 square pattern, you can be very sure that you have covered all the major information and documentation before you leave the organization. So let us go one by one. Number 1, before resigning. Ensure that before resigning, you review your employment contract, particularly the exit clauses. Understand the notice period length, because what happens is some candidates they overcommit to the future employer. Like for example, if the notice period is 90 days, they overcommit to the future employer that they will come out within 1 month, which is not right. Ensure that you have proper balance with the current organization and the future employer. Understand the notice period properly, and if there are any room for reducing the notice period, you can negotiate with your HR or your supervisor. Only if they agree, commit to the future employer, because based on your commitment, the future employer will be waiting for you. So ensure you have a proper balance in terms of understanding of a notice period from the current employer and the future employer. If it is 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, be honest to them, be with integrity, because any employee they look for integrity rather than employee rushing to the organization. So ensure you have a proper balance of notice period from the current employer before committing to the future employer. Check for any penalties during exit. For example, in some companies there can be loss of pay. So ensure that you cover the loss of pay and talk to the HR that you can negotiate in terms of bringing down the loss of pay. So if there are any penalties before exit, ensure that before resignation you look for these penalties and avoid this. Secure your new job or financial backup. Have a confirmed offer or savings buffer. So before submitting the resignation, ensure that you have a confirmed offer or a savings buffer. Before that, don't ever resign, because if you don't have an offer or a savings buffer, it will be very difficult for you to manage financially. And in case if you have an offer with the future employer, ensure that you have a clarity on which is your exact date of joining. This will help you to sync the notice period between current employer and the future employer. Many people tend to forget this. Back up your personal data from work devices. Like for instance, if your degree certificate or any personal documents you have in the work office laptop, ensure that you transfer it to your personal database. And if there are any confidential company information, this is very important, any type of company information should not be copied to your personal drive. This is against the integrity. So avoid copying confidential company information. List down key achievements and projects. Whatever you have done in the company, your achievements, your projects, you can list down. Document work highlights for resume appraisals. So this will highlight in the resume or in your LinkedIn profile. When you highlight your achievements in your resume and LinkedIn profile, that will quantify and it will be best performing during interview sessions. Ensure that you draft your resignation letter professionally. Don't be in a rush that you got a future employer, you got an offer. Don't be in a rush to submit a normal resignation letter. Thank them like you've been into the company. Once you got the offer, you survived there for 1 year or 2 years. Thank them that whatever you have learned and appreciating the opportunity. So this will give proper pitch to your current employer. So once you do this, they will also have a good impression on you. And according to me, I always feel that any exit employee from an organization are the best brand ambassadors for the current organization. For instance, I have left my previous organization, but still I am in touch with the CEO and HRs of the organization. So that is how we can build our contacts. So even if we go tomorrow for future employer, if there is a background verification, still the name remains in a good note. So if we go in a rush that I will not serve notice period properly or I will not give the database properly, that's not the right note. So you should ensure that you have a proper sync between your current employer and future employer. And then let's go for the second square, after submitting resignation. Get resignation acknowledged in writing. Ensure email confirmation from HR or manager. So once you submit the resignation, don't think that it's being accepted. Just because you sent an email to the HR or your supervisor, it doesn't mean that it has been accepted. So they have to give a confirmation that your resignation has been accepted and this will be your last working date. Ensure that you receive it from your supervisor or HR. There are some companies who can give resignation acceptance letter as well. So if you get that, that is well and good. You can send that resignation acceptance letter to your future employer as well. Align exit timeline with HR and manager. So if there are any exit dates given, you should align with that. Whatever the tasks, activities, ensure that you prepare a proper report and submit to your supervisor. This will give a proper frame to the HR that you are serving your notice period full-fledged. In case if you're covered under the tax bracket, ensure that you get the relevant documents of tax from your HR or supervisor, because once you leave the organization, it is being very difficult to collect the tax documents from the company. So ensure before you leave, you get the tax documents from your company. And the last square after serving notice, that is exit process. Collect your full and final settlement, otherwise called as F&F. Verify last month's salary, leave encashment, and bonus if applicable. So, whatever the salary period has been in hold, ensure that you receive from the company. And there are some cases that sometimes, not every time, sometimes the company might forget that the payable salary days has not been credited to you. So ensure that you get a clear details from the HR and you can compare with your personal data with your bank statement, for example. So once you compare and if you find any difference, immediately raise it then and there so that it will be clear. Because if you prolong, for example, if you go after 6 months and say that this has been pending, it will be very difficult to get that salary. So ensure during the exit process itself, you highlight and get all your payable days. Get final payslip and FNF acknowledgement. Request official confirmation from HR or account. So if they are giving any payslip until your last day, whatever day, even if it is like 5 days or 4 days, for example, we are in April. If I work in a company, if I'm relieving on 5th of May or even 2nd of May, even for the 2 days, get the payslip. Everything should be documented. And in the full and final settlement, it should mention that you have worked until 2nd of May. For example, if I'm leaving on 2nd of May 2025, in my payslip it should be until 2nd of May. Even in full and final settlement, it should be until 2nd May of 2025. More importantly, in the relieving letter, it should be under 2nd May 2025. So all the dates should match. From the complete records, it should match. Once it goes to the future employer, they should not get any doubt about you. And the comparison, some companies do the background verification, so ensure that all the information which you receive match with the HR records as well. There is one point which is a recommendation letter. It's my personal preference. You can also think about it if you would like to do that. A recommendation letter, it's very important, preferably from your immediate manager or HR. So if you are working in a company and if you're reporting to a supervisor, you can ask them for a recommendation letter that about your dignity, about your performance. You might have received some appreciation verbally or through email, but if it is in a letterhead, that will be wonderful. So you can submit in your future employer as well as a recognition that you have performed in XYZ organization. As well, more importantly, ask for LinkedIn recommendation. So if they feel that you have really performed, just share your LinkedIn ID and ask them to recommend in LinkedIn ID as also endorse for your skills. Exit documents. Ensure that you receive all the exit documents from the HR or employer. Don't leave out anything, because once you leave the organization, it will be very difficult to get documents from them. Stay connected and live gracefully. Ensure that you stay connected with the people. It's not the end of the road. Like, for example, if you leave the organization, you should forget them completely. You should be in touch with them. In future also, if there are any references or any requirements, definitely you can be a branding of your ex-company. So this will give a good picture to your ex-employer. And of course, your future employer also will be happy that you have a good note in your previous organization. And more importantly, once you relieve from the organization, in the LinkedIn, you can mention open to work. In case if you have not got the offer, you can mention open to work and visible to all. So in that case, your profile will be visible everywhere globally. And if they are looking out for any candidates matching your profile, definitely you can get your call. If you feel there are some people who can help you in the future to redesign your career, you can share your contacts to them. Definitely that will help you as well. More importantly, just ensure that all these documents you have the original and mail it to your personal ID as well. In case if there is any miss out of the original documents, you have all the documents in your personal ID. Also, ensure that you have copies of this. Whatever the original documents you have copies of it, at least one or two. Keep it in a different place. Even if something is missed out, another copy will be there. And more importantly, all these original documents, put it in cloud. So once you put it in cloud, anywhere, any calamity, any earthquake or any volcano happens, still the documents remain somewhere in your email id. You have your original documents, you have 2 copies, you have it in cloud as well. So somewhere your documents remain safe. So I hope this information is very useful. So if you are serving notice period or if you are planning to resign, ensure that you follow this checklist. This will definitely help you a lot. Kindly do share it to your network as well. I will see you next interesting video. Take care.